I really just wanted to do with this second video a little more of an introduction to myself. Let's see if I can hold the camera out enough to get visibility. Introduction to myself, a tiny bit of the backstory for me, and kind of where I'm at in my transition. So I'm currently 39 years old. I started unpacking my mind and all the repressed memories and identifying and classifying everything properly in February of 2019, so about 4.5 years ago at this point. And it wasn't until about 2.5 years ago that I actually started, 2 years ago that I started medically transitioning with HRT. And it was a long, hellish road for me to get to that point to actually begin my transition. Once I got on HRT, I'd promised myself I would give it a 2 to 4 month trial run just to see kind of how it goes, if I like it, if I don't like it, how I feel on it. Within about 2 weeks, I was convinced I was not coming off of it because I loved what was happening, the feelings that I was getting, the changes that were starting. Even though they were small, I couldn't wait for more of those. So it was kind of not my first, but it was the most euphoria that I'd felt as far as my transition had gone. And it was great. I wanted more, and I couldn't wait for every little change that had happened. Finally getting my emotions back, they never went anywhere. I could only connect with them in very specific and small ways, which made it a little difficult to keep having them regularly and using them properly. So HRT was a big help in allowing me to actually start feeling bad, sorrow, things like that, instead of just the severe depression that I've had for most of my life. It really helped a lot. Those few crying sessions were just amazing, as awkward as it sounds, but crying was so healing, and it made me feel so much better about things because I was able to finally feel for a while, have some time to let those emotions out and to process them in a better way than just bury them deep inside or take it as yet another negative thing against myself. Now, leading up to that unpacking, I had been in a very downward spiral, as it were, and it was causing a lot of issues for everybody around me as they noticed I was withdrawing again. I was pulling away. People thought I didn't care. I didn't want them in my life, and that couldn't be farther from the truth. I just felt wrong, out of place, and I was disconnecting more and more. And finally, when I watched a documentary that kind of helped me unpack my feelings and start classifying things properly, I felt totally different, and I've been so much more engaged in everything since then, and even more so since I've been able to begin presenting as myself instead of hiding behind the mask that was assigned at birth. And it's been a very difficult path to get there. It's not easy for anybody at any age, but it ended my marriage. It was a nightmare of hiding at work. And I work for a very, very open company that's very supportive. Everybody there has been lovely, but with so much going on, so much negativity in my personal life, and I would lose the ability to support my family if I got terminated because of it, or nobody wanted to work with me because of that. So I tried to get as far as I could in it and then be like, guess what? I'm already 2 years into this, or a year and a half into this, or a year into this. And my work hasn't suffered. So things have been very good at work, and I'm very pleased about that. It's great to just go be myself. I don't like being misgendered or people using my old name a lot. That really stings. But while it really hurts for me, I know that most of those cases aren't malicious. They're not intending to do it. I've had long-standing working relationships with some of these folks, for the 14 years that I've worked at this company, and a lot of them have known me very specifically, old me, and not new me. So it's a little difficult, and I get it, but it really does leave a mark every time it happens. It just kills my day, and it's really hard to overcome those at times. when it's in that environment and when everything's so raw. Where I'm at is interesting because when I first started transitioning in gender therapy and all that stuff to try and help lock it in, I remember like the only surgery I could identify that I would need at that point would be top surgery to help create a feminine form. And at this point, that's the last surgery I'm expecting to ever get, if I get it. At the moment, what I do have is good enough to offset that dysphoria amongst the others that are much higher. But once I started presenting as myself and living 24/7 as me, it became very obvious that SRS was the first surgery I was really wanting to get. It was a bit of a hassle to get there, as any trans person knows. There's a lot of paperwork, a lot of logistics, and a lot to prep for. I'm actually 3 weeks away from having surgery. It's a very mixed bag because it's the anatomy's been there for 39 years at this point. It just grew. I know it's not trying to be maliciously hurtful to me. It does make me uncomfortable. I've been very annoyed with it my entire life, but it also helped create my wonderful daughter. So it's a very difficult mixed bag of emotions. I'm very excited for it, but I am very scared. I'm almost kind of glad that I'm so busy right now so that I don't have time to actually try to process and think through everything and just have a lot of those nagging second guesses and second thoughts. I always work my way through them because I am very confident in what I want and who I am. It's just a lot to take on in a very short order of time because I've got a lot of stuff to finish and tie off before I get on the plane to San Francisco for surgery. It literally is life-saving to be able to live as who you are, especially once you get those first feelings of, wow, this feels normal, this feels right. Once you've started feeling that, taking it away is brutal. And the 3 times I did that just about did me in every time. I can contribute, or I can attribute that I'm still here in part from therapy and my daughter once recognizing that I was just not doing well, and she came and gave me a hug and said that she loved me, and that alone, I just started sobbing, and I knew that at that moment I wasn't going to do anything for that time, but it was a struggle to get to where I'm at now. And now I'm in total disbelief that in 3 weeks I go off for my first surgery, but I do want to record things while I'm there recovering, as those types of recovery videos are something that I relied a lot on looking into this stuff years ago, and I found it very helpful. So I think the more of that we can put out there within reason, because it's a very personal experience, would be great. We'll see what I do. I may not feel good. I may feel like crap, and doing that type of video may make me feel worse. So I don't know, but I did want to at least cover my past and my history succinctly to get that out there before moving on to the next video. So I hope you have a lovely day or evening wherever you are located, and we'll see you next time. Bye.